In this video, I'll be reviewing Eono Silk PLA filament. I don't often do review videos, but Eono reached out to me and asked if I wanted to review any of their Silk PLA. I made it very clear that they should only send me some filament if they were happy for me to be completely honest. I said that if I hate it, I will say so. I'm not being paid for this or any other review video, as I always want to be able to give 100% honest information. Eono agreed to this, and the next day I had an Amazon Prime delivery at my door. The first thing I noticed when I opened the box is that the filament is sealed tight inside a vacuum bag. Often filament is supplied inside plastic, but its ability to keep the filament completely sealed is questionable. That's not the case here though. There's also a good sized silica sachet supplied inside, so I have high hopes for the filament being in good condition. The next thing I like is that the vacuum bag the filament is supplied in is resealable. Whilst I couldn't get the tear-off action just right, the second seal is a big plus. You won't be able to get the same tight vacuum, but it's really good to have a bag to put your filament back into when you're done printing. If you seal the silica bag back inside when the reel's not in there, you'll also be able to use this for a while as well. With the filament out of the packaging, the first thing that strikes me is how neatly it's wound onto the spool. I don't think I've ever seen filament wound so neatly. There's clearly been a lot of care taken with how this has been done. However, a couple of things that are not ideal are actually in the spool itself. It looks great, but there's only one set of holes to hold the end of your filament, and there are no sight holes to see how much filament you've actually got left. As with all new filament, I loaded it straight up, and the first thing I printed was a temperature tower. 200 degrees C seems to give the best results, so that's what I'll print with. After the temperature tower, I printed a benchy, which came out pretty nicely. I'm using a completely standard Ender 3 version 2 to review this filament. If you have the same printer and your benches aren't coming out quite like this, then check out some of the other videos on my channel for help on how to make them better. There are some very minor imperfections, but I'm pretty sure these can be tuned out with very small tweaks to settings. I've got into the habit of drying on my new filament, as I found that most give up a bit of weight, and if that's moisture, I want to get it out as soon as possible. Through testing, I found that new filament gives up between 0.17 and 0.33% of weight when dried. This Eono Silk PLA only got 0.08% lighter when dried for 24 hours. To me, that says that it arrived pretty dry already, and print quality seems to support this. Now, most of the things that I print are usually more functional, so I don't really use a huge amount of Silk PLA. When I do though, I tend to use Amazon Basics. It always seems to be available, and the print quality is very consistent. I believe that Eono is actually an Amazon brand, and it wouldn't surprise me massively to find out that they're the same filament. They perform extremely similarly when printing. The packaging on the Eono filament is definitely better though, and I'm impressed by how dry it is. If you're looking to buy silk filament, then you're probably not going to use it for functional parts, more for aesthetically pleasing prints. However, if you see my bed adhesion video, you'll know that I use this filament for all of the tests there, and actually it has pretty incredible layer adhesion. No matter how hard I yanked on the little hooks that I printed, they wouldn't break. Likewise, this filament stuck really well to the bed when hot, and released almost completely when cold. I did have a little issue with corners lifting on the standard bed, but I've since found that bumping the bed temperature up to 60 degrees completely solved this. As I've been working my way through this filament, I've also been measuring the diameter to see if there's much variation. As with most filaments, I have found a very small variation in diameter through the full reel, but the maximum I've seen is 0.02 millimeters, which is about as accurate as my verniers can go. When it comes to appearance, I'll let you be the judge. So to sum up, I really like this filament. It's very well packaged to arrive with you in the best possible condition. The reel that I was sent had a very low moisture content, and it gives great prints out of the box as a result. As part of another video, I also submerged this filament in water for a week to see what effect it had. Whilst the print quality obviously did get worse, surprisingly it was still usable. If we were to list the pros and cons for the Eono Silk filament, on the positive side, I'd say it's well packaged, it's very neatly coiled, it sticks well to the bed, and it prints great out of the box. Also, it comes with that resealable plastic bag. The only real negatives I could find were those holes in the spool, in that there's not enough holes around the outside to hold the filament still, and there are no sight holes, and we don't really know how much filament we've got left. Both of these could be easily fixed by just using different spools, so hopefully Eono are listening. Eono filament is currently available from Amazon in Europe, but unfortunately not in the US just yet. If you're in the US and like the look of this filament, then try the Amazon Basic Silk. Like I say, results-wise, I can't tell the difference. I was really pleasantly surprised by this filament and would happily recommend it to anybody looking for a silk PLA. Let me know in the comments if you've ever used any Eono filament and what you think of it. Also, let me know if you like this kind of video. I didn't particularly plan to do review videos, but if this is something you'd like to see, I can talk to other manufacturers about maybe testing some more filaments. If you want to see any of the other videos I've mentioned in this one, then check out this playlist. Or click here for another video you might enjoy. Thanks for watching.